And call this meeting to order at 7:02. This is the Bristol Planning Commission meeting on Tuesday, April 15th, 2025, 7:02. This month is the organizational meeting. Item 2 on the agenda, any additions, removal, or adjustments of any of the items? Possibly. Pending.
We barely have a quorum. I know we don't have a quorum to change anything that was proposed. Do we have enough of a quorum to elect officers?
Do we need a 2/3?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, true.
I'm not sure.
No, it is a 2/3 for the vote. We have enough to run a meeting.
We need to elect somebody by 2/3.
That's why I was just looking to see if it was that, or if it was just to change it was 2/3, that I could not recall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
But does it say that if somebody wants to?
It just says shall elect. There's no qualifications after that.
And majority of the full 9-member commission.
Any changes will require a 2/3 vote, though.
Right.
Okay.
Which is more important for new business, so
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be 2/3 of those present?
No.
No.
No,
It's 2/3 of the whole committee for a change. Okay.
Yeah.
We have 5 present though, yeah?
You need 6.
Well, 5/7
Well-
is more than 2/3, right? I mean,
No,
2/3
we
would
would
be
need 6 votes for 2/3 to change anything for policies and procedures, but we would only need a majority of being 5 to elect officers if all were in agreement. Right?
I believe so.
Cause I just did the math here, look at it again, but 15/21 is a bigger number than 14/21, so 5/7 is, like, we have 5 a unanimous vote. That would be 2/3 of our board,
No,
no?
2/3 would be 6. Cause there's 9 members.
Oh, there's 9. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought we had 7.
No, it's a
Never
9.
mind,
So that makes it
7
even
is
easier.
DRB.
that's very easy, yeah?
All right. Well,
So
you proposing.
Where did we?
I think we can move forward if everything. May have to table it, right?
New business
Or-
being tabled to the next meeting,
No.
table the whole.
Things the EV one we wanted to get done, right, to send on.
But isn't that what you're saying?
No,
Oh,
That's
no,
continuing business.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, organizational matters, the elect by chair and vice chair and new business are both things that having the majority is important to have. We have enough to start the meeting ironically, but not enough to continue on the meeting.
well, we technically have enough to continue on. I'm just concerned about
So if somebody.
the weight of it.
Yeah,
If somebody chooses to change something with the policies and procedures, which is an action item tonight, we don't have enough to do that.
Right.
If we understand that,
but we have enough to say we can do it again at a different time.
well, it's specific to the organizational meeting to make the changes, so.
Oh,
Is that something that could be continued to a date certain?
I suppose it could be. Okay.
Yeah. Not officially close the organizational meeting. That's the only thing I could think to do.
Get into heavy duty, meeting protocols.
Yes,
good thing we're reviewing the policies and procedures.
yeah.
Someone did their homework. Alright, Well, with that, shall we move on to item 3? Organizational matters, elect chair, elect vice chair. With the acknowledgement that we have enough for a quorum, of 5 out of 9. Moving forward that, are there any nominations for chair?
I nominate Kevin.
I'll second that.
Yeah,
Are we sure we can do this again?
Yes.
Yeah, I bet you are. Okay, good.
I think this is technically the last one though,
Uh,
at this point, right?
Last one possible in a row.
Yeah, it is.
so would
Are
they,
you willing to serve?
I will do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
having a second, do we have? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right?
Aye. Aye, did you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
4,
Mhm.
which. Wait, this math. Oh, cause you can't.
I can, I think, I don't think there's.
Yeah, you can.
So yeah, I'll see. how you-
Okay.
Makes
So
sense.
that-
So, okay, I was like, wait a minute. Alright, so
Yeah, no.
5-0.
Yeah.
Kevin is our chair, on to vice chair, thank you, chair. Does
Very
anyone
much.
have a nomination for vice chair?
What's this guy's name?
Nominate Ralph.
There's a second,
I'll second that.
alright, those in favor say aye,
Aye.
Aye.
alright, 5-0 carries. We have a chair and a vice chair,
Yay.
yay,
Okay.
Kevin, I'm passing it back to you.
Oh, thank you. So it's interesting that, and I picked this up from being on the school board where they are much more conscious of Robert's rules than we are. They always started a meeting, even though the bylaws will say that you're in those elected positions until replaced.
Mhm.
They always start the meeting neutrally. That's why I asked Daisy and have asked
Yes.
before, so anyway, that's kind of how that goes. So any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to continuing business,
Alright,
which is the first is to review the PZA interim bylaw presentation, which will morph into a discussion.
mm-hmm. Alright. Okay, so. One last time going through this definition for, clarity. An electric vehicle charging station, the public or private parking space served by electric vehicle service equipment. Including all signs, information, pavement services, service markings, fee collection systems and protective equipment. And which a vehicle is recharged, electric vehicle service equipment are the electrical apparatus and protective system that provides an electrical charge of varying voltage to an electric vehicles. I kept the levels in here as this is an interim bylaw. It has a specified end date, which in my mind signifies that the worries of technology advancing and these levels becoming obsolete. While a valid concern for this situation, I feel like having these levels here is important for capturing the fast charging ESB that we're trying to mitigate the impacts they have on our community. And by clearly defining what a fast charger is, compared to a level 1 or a level 2 is important. As we're trying to impact, mitigate impact on our community. Bringing into an exemption, having level 1s exempt, if they're for personal, non-commercial use. Put that personal, non-commercial use in as it was a concern that someone could have a fleet of level 1 chargers. So just making it very specific that this is a exemption if it is for personal use. and then it will move forward onto section 611, that governs all other chargers. Section 611, is broken into 4 categories. Requirements for all electric vehicle charging stations. This has not changed, still protecting the equipment so it doesn't get damaged. You have to have at least 1 space per, equipment. And you have to, comply with any state permits and state, regulations for the floodplain. Second, moving into an allowed use, accessory use for single family dwellings and duplexes, provided they comply with the criteria set above. This is for folks who, and it's an allowed accessory use, not a permitted. So if you have an EV at home and you just wanna get a charger, it's allowed, you don't have to go through a permit. That was brought up as being onerous on, landowners.
Can you say that again?
Electric vehicle charging stations shall be an allowed accessory use for single family dwellings and duplexes, provided they comply with the criteria set forth above.
That would be any level.
Um,
Nothing will happen, but any level would be acceptable for us in this.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that, as we've discussed, level 3 fast charging requires 3-phase power. If someone wanted to put a level 3 charger in at their house. That would get caught in the, conditional use as it falls under the criteria of any level 3 gets thrown into conditional use, so if someone did want to do that, but that could be something that is defined further.
But it's allowed. It is allowed, it's saying right here.
Yeah,
That I could, let's say I have a duplex or something, I put it in and I invite and I charge for it. For people to come. I mean, I think to me, the only thing that makes like a general criteria is that whether it's gonna be commercial or non-commercial. And that seems to be somehow gotta be in here. Some people bend the rule if they can make money.
yeah, well, this condition here is meant to remove the onerous permitting process for personal use at a single family dwelling. That can be further defined. I see your point of making it clear. And then when you get down into accessory use that are for subordinate use to a primary structure, shall be a permanent accessory use following the conditions below. Fee collection in public use is prohibited,
Okay.
not exceeding 2 at a proposed location. So this accessory use would be more for offices, multifamily units, commercial fleets, situations like that. This condition 2 is for single family dwellings and duplexes for private use, that can be further defined.
So you put that in there, that sounds good.
Yeah,
So I'm still confused about, so under item 2, allowed accessory use for single blah blah. Does that require a permit to come and get a permit or not?
That's what I'm saying, allowed use of,
Allowed use, but I hate to be a stickler about this, but I don't read it that way.
you don't read it that way?
No, I could see somebody making the point that you still need to get a permit for that.
Like an accessory structure.
Yeah. So if that is the intent, I certainly welcome that intent.
Yeah, that's the intent, I base this allowed accessory use on other regulations, where permitting is not required, and is an allowed use of kind of similar to, not similar, but with exemptions, it's basically saying you don't have to follow regulations. I understand why that's confusing, that would be something I will clarify with Kevin Brown, on the legalese of making sure my intent with that language is clear, of saying you don't need a permit for this. It is acceptable for you to do this without a permit. You just have to follow these regulations above hand.
I had a question. It said 2 per wherever that was, sorry, 2 per unit or whatever, that's per unit, not per property. Like if somebody had a property and they had 2 duplexes on it, they could have 2 chargers for the one and 2 for the other. Is that right?
No, that is saying that you cannot have more than 2 electric vehicle charging station, at a proposed location. Which is
Hmm. So
that is
so if
supposed
you-
to be,
Yeah, I mean, if you're renting to 4 people, you can still only have 2 chargers at that.
most chargers have
Pro-
dual ports, so 2
Oh,
chargers with
okay.
4 ports.
Oh, okay. I thought it was each one was for one car or
Oh,
one
no,
at a
it's-
time.
So one electric vehicle service equipment is, like. One Tesla charging
Yeah.
block there.
So to follow on with Melissa's question though, is if you had a 4-unit apartment complex
Mhm,
and you wanted to put out 4 cables,
mhm.
wouldn't that become a conditional use as opposed to an accessory use?
Mm,
And does it flip from one to the other?
well, like I was saying, Melissa, the charger is one electric vehicle service equipment, so the 2 ports is part of that one.
Yeah. So you could have, so you're saying one station can charge 2 cars at a time.
Yes,
But the
Oh,
one
okay. Okay. Okay.
power will give
Yeah.
you is one cord,
One cord.
one charger.
Yeah.
okay,
So I
Hmm.
don't know. So I was sort of thinking, I don't like that, but then I was also thinking that with a multi-family situation, you would all of a sudden be into conditional use as opposed to, but maybe I'm assuming something there.
I was going back to the definition and trying to make sure it all jives, because that does say space, or space is served by service equipment, including all the markings, et cetera, to charge a vehicle. So
Mm.
it's not clear if it is one power supplying unit, despite the number of cords to each space for
Yeah.
each cord, or if it's each space is a EVCS, despite how it's fed, whether it's one unit for 2 spaces, that would still be 2 EVCS,
mhm,
or whether it's just one cord and the space is the EVCS.
yeah, I see,
And just like the proposed location, is that
yeah,
proposed one single stand, proposed location in terms of the property, or within so many feet, or build structure?
Yeah.
Building, right.
yeah, I see what you're saying,
There's
I see what you're
a
saying.
lot of minutiae in the.
Yeah,
definition.
I see what you're
I have-
saying there.
I had another question too then on that, because excuse me, it can't be for commercial, you can't collect fees. But if somebody puts a charging station in, say they have, like you were saying, maybe a 4-unit or something, and they just want to put one in or even 2, they're not going to be connected to the electric power of any of those apartments or it's, you know what I'm saying? You can't, it's going to have to be it would be a separate electrical for the property owner. Unless it's just like, say, a single family home or a single home, they put one in and it's hooked up to their electric. But you can't do that if you have an apartment building.
Well, I would.
So
My
what? Mhm.
My initial thoughts there are most multi-purpose or multi-unit apartments houses have the landowner or the landlord, or what do you wanna call them, has common areas that they have to power that are tenant responsibilities, so it's likely that they would have service if they
Right.
want.
You mean like outdoor
Right.
lights and
Yeah,
yeah. The thing is, my point is, if they're going to probably do it that way, how do they charge their tenants for using it? Do they just include it in the rent? But if they include it in the rent, then that can't be, if somebody doesn't have an electric car, they're getting charged for charging their car. You know what I'm saying? It seems like they would probably charge a fee to their tenants every time they used it.
Yeah.
They could do that, or else, the other thing I was gonna say is the tenant would arrange to have it put on their meter.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they could do that, but I would, but what I'm saying is that fee collection and public use, but also fee collection, you just have to put them for non-tenant, non-residents. You know, because if they have to collect a fee from their tenant because they're using the charger, then you don't want to get caught up in there where you say you can't collect fees for it.
Well, on when it's public.
That one,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that one, that accessory use that we're looking at right there.
Yeah.
It would not be for an apartment building. Cause that's
Okay.
tied to the single family and duplex.
Okay, I thought
Right.
there was also a thing about fee collection in that, but there's not.
There is a fee collection in this accessory use, which applies to. Chargers at single family dwellings and duplexes.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
just being ignorant,
'Cause-
but doesn't every time somebody goes and plugs in at a public station for electric, they must use a credit card or
Yeah,
something, right?
Either that or you got an account with a charging company.
Yeah, so, well,
Yeah.
or whatever, but. What I'm just not seeing is that you have a 4-unit or bigger place, there's gonna have some charging stations there, and people are gonna have to use their credit cards or whatever to get their juice.
Yeah.
And that means I can drive in there and get some juice. I just don't see how you can stop that just from being a commercial zone. In this light. Come on, sure, the guy wants to
You
make money,
could-
people want to charge up, it's gonna just.
You could do that. I can see where you could do that. I'm not sure.
Private property, though, you can't just drive onto,
It's
I
my
wouldn't
buddy,
think.
I
Yeah,
got lots of friends.
Well, yeah, but yeah. Who's collecting the fees? That's the thing. When you said you can't charge fees.
It goes straight in through the credit machine, right to my
So-
account.
Yeah, I meant to you as a landlord or to,
Yeah,
oh,
Right.
okay.
You-
Yeah,
I
well, that's a fee then, so I don't know how you.
right,
Yeah,
so
So-
that's commercial,
was-
that's the point, this is commercial all of a sudden, and I don't see what's
yeah, that's.
happening. Especially.
I mean,
like
it's possible, it is possible, I think it's probably possible to lock them so that only you give keys to individual to get in or scan a whatever, it's not a lock, but you know what I mean? It'll be locked down until you have a card that you
I
swipe
don't want
to.
it locked down, I want people to come in and use it, because I'm making money, right? Now.
That's what I'm saying, but we're not supposed to allow, that's not gonna be allowed, so I'm saying there's a way around that.
I think we're getting off track.
so
Yeah,
I think,
I
I
mean-
think the way to solve that concern is when you talk about. What is the definition? The collection of prior user charges prohibited through paying at the charger. So you can't.
Like a point of sale.
Yeah, you can't, I mean,
So single family, no problem,
and if you got a duplex, you can't, you can't put one out there, or if you got a 4 apartment thing. You can't put one out there with the point of sale, if you wanna call it that, at the charger. Now, whether the landlord wants to go back and back charge his tenants or whatever, who cares? But you can't have people pulling out their phone and beeping the thing.
Yeah.
So, how does that work? I'm a tenant there. Now, I can see having a dedicated card or something. But that could also be fiddled with, I mean, easily, so.
I mean, could it be that just the fee collection part, because that was a concern of. Folks are gonna put a charger point at a multifamily apartment building. And then it would be a commercial use because it's open to the public, and the fee collection was put in to kind of prevent the commercial use. But that is a good point that the landlord or whoever owns that might need to charge their tenants something. So
For sure.
maybe removing the fee collection from that entirely, say public use, that it is for the
Tenant u-
tenants. their
Residence use, yeah.
request. But hey,
You can say that.
I mean, yeah,
You can't,
Well, you can't do everything, I know,
Right.
but enforcement's very
So
difficult.
see
That's
the other thing, if these guys are putting in level 2 charging for an extended charge. There's not too many people that are gonna pass by and have the patience to wait 4 or 6 hours for it. I mean, just
Yeah,
logic of the setup is
No,
gonna like,
For the level 2, so when you get to level 3, this is all gonna change.
oh yeah.
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 That's why when it comes to the accessory use and the single family dwellings, the goal is to make it as
But painless.
painless, but also mitigate any large impacts of like making sure that there are proper parking spaces, that you're not messing with electrical code issues by proper in placement. The big impacts that we're trying to mitigate come from these level 3 chargers, which
Okay,
are where you need to have the 3-phase power, you need to have the transformers. I was at the Healthy Living up in Burlington, and they have 7 Tesla chargers there.
Jesus.
And very conveniently hidden, right to the left of those chargers is some very nicely landscaped trees and shrubbery. But right behind those trees is a very large, I would say 12 by 10 transformer. So that's
Yeah.
the impact that I am most concerned about when it comes to electric vehicle charging, and it's
Sure.
the most concern that I heard from y'all. So when it comes to the interim bylaw, the most important parts to me are ensuring that rampant commercial use of chargers doesn't.
and that's only gonna be on level 3, that is existing now,
Yeah, level 2, like Kevin was saying.
5 or 6 hours. or something.
Yeah,
Charge
that's
up.
gonna be someone who's wanting at a multifamily unit who
Sure.
has the cards, they come home from work, they plug in.
Yep.
And you wanna make sure that that is properly protected from snowplows, or it's properly placed. You
Okay,
wanna
I'm
have it
totally
marked.
sold, except on means of paying. Can I use my personal credit card?
It depends on the
Or-
charging station and how they set it up, and. If a landlord decides they don't wanna charge anything for it currently, because they only have 1 tenant out of 10
Hmm.
units. So they just have it there as a resource, but the power that's actually been taking is pretty nominal,
Okay.
there's no need to charge for it. But then maybe they do need to charge for it,
Versus 6 people have electric cars and nothing has to change.
yeah,
Yeah.
so. But the fee collection and public use starts really coming into when you get into these conditional use of. You're having more than 6 electric vehicle service equipment, which I have here a note to clear up. Is the electric vehicle service equipment is it the charger and the ports, or is it? I'll have that cleared up, but that's the big
Okay,
impact there.
good to go.
Cool,
Thanks.
yeah. Melissa, does that kinda?
No, I'm sorry, I just, on the, part 2 for
Mhm.
the, is it, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my brain's not working. Can they have as many charging cables, as charging stations, whichever it is, as there are tenants, or is it still limited? That's kind of what I was.
that
Wondering.
would, the way I read this, that would kick it out of accessory use and into conditional use.
Yeah, if they
To have
wanted,
more than 2. It's
Yeah.
not saying it's not allowed, it's just a different use and different.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you just had different permit, but they can still have, like, if they have 4 tenants and all 4 of them have electric guitars, they can have,
Yeah.
did I say guitars? Oh my gosh, electric cars.
yeah,
They can,
so.
There's a no guitar limit.
no guitar
So,
limit.
yeah,
Jeez.
that second condition is basically saying, and the proposed location, to clarify, is meant to be the property location.
Okay,
So if you have a parcel that has a multifamily unit and you're wanting to put an electric vehicle, in one of your parking lots, but then you have a parking lot on the back of the building and you wanna put one there, that would be 2 at the proposed location, that is the property. And if you
Okay.
go 1 and 2 at that property. Conditional use.
Sounds right.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
I've made a note to clarify that. Even further. But that's the intent with that condition, is basically saying. You can have these level 2s, but once you start exceeding more than 2. That's starting to get into a more impactful situation, because you're now taking up more parking spaces than you have. You're starting to take more power, more impact. The more chargers you have.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving on to the conditional use, again, this is public or commercial use, keeping it at a max of 6 of the service equipment, which I will further define to mean the actual charger. The charger block, if it has 1 port, 2 port, it's the charging block itself. That's my mind.
So
The no maximum number of connections, so if there's 6 with 4 connections each, they can have
I would,
24.
So I'll cap it at 2.
I'm just, I'm
Yeah,
asking,
I would.
if you're going into that.
Yeah,
I would suggest considering each plug,
each plug as the.
because each plug is gonna take a parking spot.
Mm.
And whatnot, I mean, typically with level
Yeah.
3s, you got 2 cords coming out of one kiosk, if you will.
So that would be 2.
You
service
really,
equipment.
you need 2
Yeah.
parking spots for that.
Yep,
thing.
that makes sense, yeah. So, 1 electric vehicle service equipment
So you would say
Is-
6
plugs,
plugs.
Yep.
Which I think certainly for Bristol, it seems like.
yeah.
Planning, yeah.
And I put 6 because I feel like you could have 3 ports with 2 chargers each, or you can have 6 individual chargers. However, 6 just felt the right
And
number.
we're not experts, but we've traveled. And I don't think typically, at least typically, I can say typically, if not absolutely, we haven't seen a charging location with more than 6. It seems like 6 is the magic number.
That healthy living one, had like 6 of those.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, let
We
me
don't
pull-
have a Tesla car, so
Let me pull up. the big
Tesla
plan.
racks them right up.
I mean, but, okay,
It's like the Buckies of EVs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
is that all still like a Tesla when it fixes into the Teslas and other cars going to some other type?
Yeah.
Still all like that?
So there is a transition to the Tesla standard, but it's only going forward and that
they had
was
7.
7.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
And
see how
now-
long we have to be concerned with Tesla. You know,
Well,
there are gonna be other people
charging.
coming up to take those, you know, that's their spots, hopefully.
The charging, Tesla charging is top, is the standard. But anyway, I mean, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the company, not the function or how they work, you know.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
the,
see.
so 6, I feel like if anyone wanted to do more than 6, they're in the wrong town.
These are 6 plugins, so maybe
6
3.
Vehicle
yeah.
connections, or I don't
3
know.
kiosks
vehicle
with dual
connections,
port,
yeah.
or 6 individual
That's,
kiosks,
that's fine, I mean, that's a
um,
lot.
Pluggy thingies.
but. I'll write that as a
Dongles.
definition. Your car dongle, you can only have 1 per car. And then other conditions for the conditional use is that the cords must have sufficient length to accommodate port variation. So if a car has the port on the front or maybe on the back, depending on the manufacturer, the cord itself allows for the safe charging of the vehicle, no matter how someone parks. Hopefully they park well, though. We can't really enforce that. You can put lines down.
So you mean, so everybody, let's say they're in the back, I mean, people would back in normally, you'd think, but you couldn't go, you're saying, okay, pull in front more than that cord has to go all the way then.
Yeah,
I guess, is that normal or? I mean,
Those cords are liquid cooled, so whatever they come out of the factory as is what they are.
so you have some experience though, I have no
We've never had a
experience,
problem connecting.
so you go all the way to the end of
Back
the
in.
car.
We just back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so, okay, I'm just. It's, you're saying here that the. Kiosk, or the, let's say with the two hoses, the hoses have to be able to reach the back of the car, is that?
They just have
something
to, they have to have the sufficient length to accommodate different variations of where the port might be.
Yeah.
It's kind of a safety thing
Well, I
for,
get it, except unless people don't make them that way. I don't know, I see, I'm ignorant, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they make them, because of course, like, if it's in the back of your car, you back into the spot.
yeah,
I mean, even
That's
going to
why
the gas
it's,
station, you get close.
that's why it's a
Right.
condition for the conditional use, because the level 3 chargers, their cords, already kind of made to the standard, it's just a further,
Somebody
Place
comes in and presents this, they should be able to demonstrate that the cords are readily accessible and it shouldn't be an issue.
But they might think you'd be willing to back in to get close, like, if I look at. Oh, let me just-
I mean, there's no reason why you can't expect people to back in though.
No, they will, but this doesn't force them to have a long hose, that's all I'm saying, I don't really care, I'm just saying, it sounds to me like you're
It's-
forcing a company to have a long hose.
well, it just says sufficient length.
Okay, well, front to back, back to front, that's, some cars, that's quite a long distance. And like, even if you go to a gas station, you can't just park anywhere, you know. If you don't. If you're pulling the wrong way and there are things on the other side, you're not gonna reach it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I should go to Costco.
I can move my car and turn around and go
They
back.
go all
the
the
other
way
way.
around.
Yeah, that's right.
Do they?
Yeah.
Alright,
I don't know, it's fine. I'm just wondering.
yeah. This is, yeah, I see. That can be,
I think you can just. I don't know what the standards are. Are we getting too deep in the weeds on that? And
We
should it
might.
just be sufficient length to accommodate port variations? The end?
Period, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that's
Great.
what I was gonna suggest.
great, I love taking away things. And then the final one, just if there is gonna be signage for the, vehicles, that it has to conform to the traffic control devices. For general information and regulatory information, that's just basically saying if you're having any signs that say EV charging only, or, 2-hour charging, or those kind of informational signs, they have to meet the standards of traffic control, a safety measure, especially for larger charging stations, mitigating impacts, we want things to be done safely and done correctly. So if someone can just put up a laminate sign that says free chargers, you want it to be.
Like hard mode.
Mhm. And then, update to the use matrix. Offices and service uses, and then this is where. In the use matrix, the categories I identified, they would go under vehicle charging station. As this would be the conditional use aspect, and that would go under automotive uses. Similar to the vehicle service station.
Was there a reason, I get the HDR is mostly residential where it is, right? Was there a reason the village residential? Was not, I'm trying to think of the zones here, it's not conditional,
For the accessory electric vehicle charging station,
for the conditional,
why it was not a conditional,
yeah.
cause we don't really have that much village residential zone left.
Oh, that was on the north side, sorry, I was getting confused with village mix, I
Oh, no.
apologize.
Yeah, VR is kind of,
So no, has anybody else got questions?
I just wanna circle back to the exemption. At some point, whenever
Yeah.
we're ready to move on to that.
So I guess, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, if anyone's, excuse me, if anyone's interested, the typical length of the charging cable is 20 to 25 feet.
Oh geez, okay,
I think that's long enough.
all right. Thanks.
So the zone that we are spot zoning, not spot zoning, but the zone we're considering. With this proposal is, what zone is that?
Village business.
Okay, way over there,
Mhm. It's a little,
because of the Sprout House or whatever it's called now,
the co-op,
where the
the,
chocolate place is.
Chocolate
yep,
now,
yep,
yeah.
yep, yep. That
Okay,
got
cause
cut off.
that's in village business,
Yeah,
okay,
and that's where the parking lot is.
right.
So no matter what, any permits there need site plan review because they are in the downtown in the,
Designated area.
yeah.
And then I guess my other question is, so if you walk through this thing, I wanna put a charger on my tenant's side of the house. If I come down through here, or I get to this 2 that we already talked about. Underneath 611, and then I pop out there because. It's single family dwelling. And comply with all that other stuff, I don't need a permit being, I'm done.
Mhm.
You don't go for. But, so then. This whole line that says accessory electric vehicle charging stations has to do with. Whatever doesn't fall out at that condition, like multi
Mhm.
family units, or maybe a private
Office.
office or
Mhm.
something like that, big,
Yep.
it comes down here. If it doesn't follow that one, it goes down into a conditional use.
Yeah, that's the goal. That was the intention with this,
So that allowed use that you're going for with that would be an exemption, and so that's what I wanted to circle
Okay.
back to.
yep,
That needs to be built into
To the
the
exemption.
301 section
Gotcha.
of exemptions, otherwise you're just muddying the waters by throwing another
Yeah.
exemption in out of the exemption.
yeah,
And so it just needs to be, that exemption just needs to be rephrased, whether it, because it's already all level ones are exempt, right, for
Yeah.
personal use, which would fall within that category. And then the only question is, are level 2s then also exempt for single family and duplexes under that? And if they are, we need to add that wording in there,
Yeah,
and that would clean that up a little bit.
that's essentially what that's a good point. I think I was. Trying to figure out that in my mind, you don't need a permit for this. So
Which is
should-
the exemption.
Yeah, should be the exemption, and you're correct, this wording can be put into section 301. With the level 1s being exempt, and then level 2.
As an accessory
For
to
single family
and
duplexes
duplexes.
are exempt from this regulation.
Well,
Well, it's already under exemption, so you just, the way, if you read the other
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
exemptions, the way I was just taking a
Yeah.
quick look at that.
do you have to get more complicated than saying all alternating current AC level 1 and 2 electric vehicle equivalent for personal, non-commercial use shall be exempt?
I don't think so.
So then you don't have to clarify.
Well,
Yeah.
and single family dwelling and all that.
That's what I'm guessing, but
Yeah.
maybe. not.
Yeah, no, that sounds correct to me, because that's for personal, non-commercial use. Yeah,
I think so, and then you still have your accessory use and conditional use defined. Under there, under your 611,
perfect, that,
which,
We actually did for a while have 2 chargers on our location. And we had some tenants that had an electric vehicle, then they moved. Took their charger with them. Well, it's their property.
Yeah.
Got to keep the wiring so I can advertise I've got a connection for a charger now. in
just
my
need the
apartment,
box.
but Bring your charger with you.
bring your dongle.
Bring your charger, alright.
That, thank you, Rob. Yeah, that is.
Is
Alright,
there any other discussion about the proposal as AZ has presented it?
timeline wise, do we need to take action on this tonight?
There is
Was
an
that-
action item here.
But I mean, was that the timeline we were going for to get
We
this something
were.
off this meeting?
I think so.
too?
Yeah, I think so.
there's some semantics involved with it. We're not going to approve it. We're gonna endorse it as modified. The select board. Even our zoning regulations, as they get reviewed by the select board, they can change things, but. I mean, we've seen a great amount of respect from the select board on our deliberations, so I'm sure they'll take them to heart. So if we are done with discussion. I believe the next thing to do is, take the action to endorse the interim bylaws, and I would suggest we do it as we modified here through this discussion to some point, to somehow capture that. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to endorse the interim bylaw that's been presented with the changes that have been discussed to exemptions and wording so far.
Is there
Second,
a second? Melissa seconds. Any further discussion?
I actually
Perfect.
just had a question. I'm sorry, I second it, but I have a question. Does this get, once you make the change of stuff, is it, or anything like this, is it proofread by someone else just for like typos and things like that?
It
A
will be.
period somewhere that changes the complete meaning of the sentence?
It will be. This,
Okay.
I'll be running this by Kevin Brown, for his legal.
Ah, okay. All right, thanks.
Anything else?
There was one typo in the first definition of EVSC, EV. It's that first one is SVE instead of VSE.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
I've written that so many times.
Yep. Easy to do, you go fast and they switch places.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, AZ.
Yes, thank you all so much. It's been fun.
New business. I'm sorry, Melissa, I'm gonna say something?
No, I was just laughing at the face, AZ.
What?
I think you were.
It's the
When
best
you-
one I've got.
When you said it's been fun, you said it's been fun, and then you kind of,
A long one.
Okay, moving on, discussion, new business discussion, review policies and procedures, which we can discuss it, we can't act on it if there's a desire to act, because we do not have a 2/3 majority with us tonight, but nonetheless, we can discuss it. Is there anybody that has anything they wanna?
I don't know
address?
about discussing it, because when we do get a quorum, we're just gonna have to, we're gonna go through it all again. You know what I'm saying?
I think we need to discuss it tonight, but we can't,
We can't take action,
We
but we
can't
need
take
to
action.
address it.
yeah. We
Okay,
can't take action, would have to defer the action to next meeting, but we should be discussing it here and closing it with this meeting.
oh, okay, so there will be no more discussion in the next meeting.
Well, discussion will be
it'll
open back up.
It'll be open because we'll have a motion on the floor, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess, anybody have any discussion?
My personal belief is that the term limit should be removed. With having annual elections. With having annual elections, I feel that is sufficient protection enough to avoid, and I get that. The concern is the
Power of incumbency.
yeah, just ruling and being forced through, but
I hear you. The two people that had concerns about that issue are not here tonight.
Yeah.
So we won't be hearing that side of the discussion.
Yeah.
And personally, I've thought about this, although this is me, doesn't it?
yeah,
I've thought about how much more, how much longer I wanna do this. This will be year 5. But you know. AZ has taken on a role as planning and zoning administrator that I would spend 4 hours, 5, 6 hours developing an agenda and putting it together. I don't do anymore because AZ's doing it. So as far as a chairperson, there's a lot less work that I made for myself to a large degree.
Yeah,
That's not there anymore. And Val, she was still here, coached me on that on a couple different occasions, so. To utilize a planning office, so I mean, that makes. That function a lot easier to be in, if you will.
Yeah.
But
That's actually something I wanted to bring up, just in the membership. It might be a small thing, but the zoning administrator will attend planning commission meetings on an as needed basis. Maybe that wording can be revised.
and we as needed as every meeting.
yeah, I feel like that's a holdover from when it wasn't necessarily an obligation and it was, if we ask you to be there cause we need you, you will be there instead of. This is outside my office hours, sort of thing. I don't know, cause I don't know the history of it, but that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, that was just the one thing.
I don't know when, so those, I was on zoning and planning. In the late 80s, maybe early 90s, I don't think it was very far into the 90s, and it was. One board with 2 functions and you just flipped your hat depending on what you were doing.
Yeah,
I was on that board.
And yeah, you were on it too. And so. Since then, over the years, and these bylaws have come to fruition through that gap. Or not gap, but the years I wasn't active. And I think things are a whole lot different on how we operate as a planning commission and a BZA than they were.
yeah,
So,
well, even when I started
yeah,
6, 7 years ago, it was dual function still,
Was it?
before the DRB.
Wow.
Cause the DRB only started 3 or 4 years ago. When we enacted this
right, but there was
for
some other
2000.
acronym though, right?
Well, there was the ZBA, which was the zoning board of adjustment, but they only handled the. Waivers and variances sort of stuff, the typical subdivision applications were still coming through. Planning commission, still doing that typical site plan review. So, yeah, it's a big difference, but I expect nobody to feel. Beholden to do anything they don't wanna do, or expect anybody to carry on because nobody wants to do it if they don't wanna do it or anything like that, and I don't want. Anybody to feel like they're expected to do that, cause. Everybody's time is. Worth the same to themselves as, you know. Each other, so.
Yeah, I'm grateful that the load is significantly decreased. So my preparation, maybe I shouldn't tell you, but my preparation for this meeting tonight was probably an hour as opposed to. 5 hours, so.
Yeah.
The only thing I will bring up, and it is technical in nature, is in the header of the policies and procedures, the date is wrong.
Mhm.
And when we go to approve these, we should get the file date or a new rev date in that header as opposed to the previous versions.
Yep.
Date. Anything else?
To sustain our foundation of value-added natural resource-based industries. I do remember reading this back before, and this is kind of interesting, isn't it? Why would one method of industry be mentioned as special?
We don't wanna go there.
Yeah.
Probably not, but
Yeah.
I'm just, come on, huh?
So That was based on a town, that's not even our current town plan, or is it?
Yeah, it is,
It is,
yeah, because it's the 2020 to 2028 town plan,
okay,
so expiring in
yeah, it's,
3 years.
so
That's
I think I heard a discussion about term limits.
Mhm.
I'm hearing a discussion about our mission statement. So I think when we get together
I
next,
think we need a motion to table this discussion
okay,
and action till the next meeting,
May
okay,
20th.
next regular meeting, which is May 20th.
okay, so you wanna make that motion?
Yeah, I think that's the proper way to do
I
this.
think so.
Yeah,
I think
so
you're
I'll make a
right.
motion to table this discussion and any action on this topic until the next.
So can we back up just
Yeah.
a minute, friendly? So are we all in as to what us kids think is the topics here? Okay, then, yeah, just make your motion.
Okay, to table this until the next regular meeting on May 20th.
Okay,
You second for that?
yeah,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We will assume that's protocol.
Sounds good.
See, where are we going next?
Meeting,
Meeting minutes, so. Excuse me. Everybody looked at the minutes? Anybody have any questions about the minutes? So I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
motion to approve the minutes
was Bill there?
as presented.
Was he on Zoom?
I think he was.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, I
You did
remember that, but I.
partway through.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
joined
was there for
halfway.
part of it. anyway.
Yeah, okay.
He's usually a little late with things, but. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes as read, say aye.
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 Anybody- Excuse me, anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. The next thing is March zoning report from the TZM.
Yeah,
You got the next three, that by looks easy.
yeah. I just love to talk y'all's ears off. Spring is here and people wanna build things. A lot of it, mainly accessory structures. Folks wanting to build, it's mostly been accessory structures thus far. You will see the accessory use of an EV charger at the bottom there. That's for the firehouse apartments. They came to me, they have a grant, they said, what, can we do this? And I said, oh boy, is zoning it's in the work currently. I discussed it with them, looking at the definition and the zoning regulations of an accessory use. I'm. That approval for their accessory use is very contingent on the fact that it's a subordinate use to the multifamily residences. They know that it is not for public use, no fee, it is for the residents and their visitors only. That
Is that just one charger?
is one level 2
Okay.
charger with 2
Mm.
ports. They have one tenant who has an EV. They have a grant. They applied for it last year, which is. And at that point I said, this isn't possible. Through this conversation, through looking at our regs. The accessory use clause is one that currently using for multifamily. Falls into the accessory use clause. For this situation. But this is why the interim bylaw definitely is showing a need where the zoning gets a little murky. Fortunately for this situation, the zoning fits. I am confident in my approval of this, of it being an accessory use for those apartments.
So
They,
there's the application just ready to go once it's enacted.
no, this is an approved application for an accessory use. Of just an accessory use, if you go by the regs.
Yeah, but it's not a lot, but one could nitpick on that, I think.
Yeah. 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 Hmm. One could. There is a 15-day appeal window out there if you want to nitpick.
I don't think I want to.
They also, with this, they had, to get a site plan amendment with their conditional use for those apartments, and they went to the DRB. And got a site plan amendment, showing where the connection was to the conduit. Went through development review board approval for their site plan amendment. Which is also another reason why I felt comfortable going through with this application.
That makes sense.
Because it did require additional approval from the development review board on the
That's good.
impacts, to parking, to electrical. So yes, there is room for nitpicking, but it did go through my review and the development review board and multiple, but I wanted to bring
Brush
that
them
up.
off.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up and just. I'm not trying to hide anything from y'all.
No, that's good, she made a good decision.
And another abstract comment is, you know, we're getting peppered with outside units for heat pumps. Same voltage, got a box outside that actually makes noise. And that's okay.
That falls under mechanicals,
Oh,
under
yeah,
the
yeah.
exemption, right?
Yeah, so you don't need a permit to do that.
Right.
At all, but I'm just saying it's inconsistent. To put the
Because
scrutiny
it's-
on one of these
yeah.
little level 2 chargers. But anyway, that's probably not permanent here.
And the reason I went with the accessory use clause for this is because. Not just trying to be like, oh, you wanna do this, I generally, when people wanna do things, try to find a way to. In the regulations, find a definition and,
Yeah, absolutely.
accessory use, if you look at the definition. Is very,
Although one would argue that it has. No relevance in terms of the structure or living purposes. I'm just,
yeah,
Just the nitpicking bit there.
just,
Yeah.
interpretation always gets muddy. And
Yep.
it's, interpretation is something that you wanna stay away from as much as possible, and hopefully everything's written. Well enough that there's no interpretation needed,
mhm,
or there's always possible interpretation, right? Everybody hears what they wanna hear, but.
So was there, I guess, was when the DRB reviewed this, was there a discussion?
Kevin Brown asked why they were here, why they were there, and I said, the impact of the changing the site plan, they're adding new electrical work. They're tying into a conduit that they had kind of put in originally. That site plan will be updated and recorded in land records. Showing the parking space that it'll be placed at, where it'll be placed. The bollards that they're gonna be putting in, all that was reviewed, discussed, and approved by the development review board.
So there, I guess when I said the discussion, is there is no philosophical discussion, was there a philosophical discussion as to whether it was germane to put it underneath the way the application was proposed, or the discussion we've been having?
No, there was no say, no, there was no discussion of that.
So it was pretty benign.
Mhm.
Curious if Mr. Moyers was present at that meeting, just curious,
No, no, he was not there.
Okay, moving on.
So that's the zoning report. They're, yeah, mostly alterations, accessory structures. Nothing crazy. I am expecting to see a very large uptick in not only building permits, but applications for subdivisions, just as people realize that it's warm out and they wanna do things. Keeping that going. The next. I'm up for the next one as well, the municipal planning grant. I mentioned this beginning of the year, wanting to apply for the municipal planning grant to do a community town-wide survey. To look into how residents are feeling about development in Bristol, looking at kind of get an overview on, are folks happy with how things are developing? Are they not happy? What are they feeling like they want more of? What do they want less of? How do they feel about the processes of zoning? Just a general kind of informational gathering, and I proposed that, going for that grant to the select board, they denied it. On the basis of wanting to save applying for the municipal planning grant in order to do the town plan update in 2 years, which I agree with. And I'm going to continue working as a side project on doing a community-wide survey, but it's just gonna be out of my office. I'm hoping to get some of Jessica Teet's, Middlebury students to do some summer work maybe. Or possibly an intern from some other source to get some assistance.
UVM, and I can try to dig out some correspondence on it. I dropped the ball. But UVM has a program that they have internships or students that are aligned with governmental functions, and I can't remember exactly what the department's called, but it's all about giving students exposure, and that might be another good resource for you.
That one with our timeline was very hard to coordinate because of their timeline of availability to meet and act on stuff and work on it around their course schedule versus our timeline of what we were looking to do.
Yeah, I'll reach out to the old alma mater. I'll see if they'll give me some.
Let me, and like I said, there was some email trails, so I can pop those to you and you would have some contacts, or maybe you would understand.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about.
Yeah. I haven't heard of that one, but it might just be in a different school that program is in. But that's my update, just not going for the grant this year, saving it so that as a planning commission, that grant can be used to assist in the funding of town plan revisions and updates. Come 2027, 2026, we'll probably apply for it next year, to start updates.
Good, thank you. So I guess the last one is sort of an annual reminder plea. We need to at least individually, I leave this up to individuals to do a review of the town conflict of interest policy, which is on the internet, and did you send out a copy of it?
It's in the meeting materials as well.
Okay, so that's easy access. And it's self-explanatory, so I don't think we have to deliberate or watch anybody
Yeah.
read it. Is there any questions about any of that?
Let's have an off-topic question a little bit. I'm sure the answer's here. I may do that. Down, down the Four Corners, they took out a lot of trees and have the heavy equipment there. I don't know what's going on there. If
I
anything.
do.
Yeah, I figured. That's why I'm asking.
Clearing trees.
That's all. I mean,
I mean, for now, they're clearing trees. I don't have an application as of yet on my desk. I think right now that, a desire is to, display more sheds for now.
oh,
Well,
really?
looked like they did test beds for
Yeah, it does.
presumably wastewater, I don't know, but there's a couple holes that were poked for test
And they've
pits.
got that kind of landing or the entry landing thing on 116.
Yep, they got a state, state AOT curb cut access permit for that. And are building the landing pad. I've spoken, with Ron LaRose about what is necessary to get permitting for displaying those sheds. For now, I'm looking at a temporary use permit. As those are for sale, they're display, the structures aren't gonna be there long term, they're for the turnover. That's my understanding of the project.
So
For
whose
now.
property is it?
Livingston bought it,
Well, so it's expansion of the property across the street.
yeah, essentially, for now. That's what I've,
Okay. Thank you.
but there are no official applications in yet, so there should be no development. And if there is, I will go down and give them the finger wag. Don't do that.
Too much you can do there, really, I suppose, with the wetness of it all.
Yeah, I don't know. Perks, there was rumor has a perks lousy there.
Yeah, the soil suitability down there is clay. So. Probably a good thing that they're digging test pits. Because no matter what they're gonna wanna do, they're gonna need something.
Hmm.
I've got a lot of questions about what's going on down there.
Very high vis.
Very visible.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment? Hearing none. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
So a motion by Rob, second by Slim. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.